Oh, that means you're wonderful and comfortable and enthusiastic like model. That means you're level and ready to go tomorrow after everything. That's right. Well, make you satisfied.
Okay, guys, we're running late. I'm about to start.
Where they want. How you doing? You want to thank? Oh, so nice.
What about Toastmasters?
And I've got a question for this sass.
I don't know who's standing in the hall, but y'all need to come inside.
Come on in. Come on down. Come on down. Come on down.
It is now 12:02. We need to get started.
Children of the Father, come on down. Wake up.
Our president can't be here today. As VBE, I will start the meeting. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Way! Woo! We want to welcome all of our new members who are here today. We also want to welcome... What you looking back for? We want to welcome Delisa back. Are you paying your membership dues today? Okay.
We gotta stop 10 minutes early, baby.
Okay, where's my drink? All right. I don't know where our Toastmaster is. So Charlie.
God is where you are.
So I'm just gonna go with the flow. Y'all know, you know how I am. All right. Here's what I need to do. I need somebody to be timer. Oh, I see Nicole done went down there.
Here's your timer. You got a timer right here.
I need somebody to be evaluated 1, evaluated 2. Okay. Nicole is timer. Now, I want nobody asking me later who got these roles. Now, write this down. Okay, evaluator 1 is Jignish. And Jignish Borad is our area director. And he will be the division director for Division B this coming year. All right, evaluator 2. Evaluator 2. All right. Leonard, you already have a role, but okay. All right. Well, we're going to let you do it because we only have new members in here, and I don't want them doing it. All right. So, no, we have all new members other than the ones that we just named, unless Philip does it. Okay? All right. All right. So Philip is going to be evaluated too. All right. Now, the field-in roles are... Oh, we need a table topics master. Unless we skip table topics. What do y'all want to do? Tabletop. You're speaking. We need to do tabletop because the new members need to see it. I know, but all of these new members haven't been here. Unless they was all here last week and I wasn't here. Were y'all here? Okay. No, he's a grammarian, I'll counter. What are you doing, Leonard? Okay, let's back this up. Leonard, I'm gonna let you be evaluator too, and Philip is gonna do tabletop. All right. Okay, let's do that. We're gonna reverse it instead of what's on the agenda. Okay. Y'all got that? Tabletop is going to be after speaker 2 instead of what's on the agenda. Okay. Everybody got that? All right. You ready, Charlie?
Sure is.
All right. Our Toastmaster of the day is none other than the Love Doctor, Charlie Simpson.
All right, all right. Greetings. That's my new name. It's May, the first of the month. I feel like singing Bone Thugs song, but I'm not a rapper, so I'll leave that alone. We got new members. We're growing, striving. Just completed my competent communicator level, so now I got a CC behind my name. Feeling good now. I just need a mentee so I can get my CL. That's Joy. She's working on that one right now.
We got 10 new members here.
I can find somebody. Somebody. All right, so we will go through the agenda for today. We have David that will be the grammarian. Come on up and provide us with the word of the day.
I'm also a doctor. I am the Looking for Love doctor. Now, have you ever, Dr. Mikasa like that, have you all ever heard of the word copacetic? Copacetic. What does copacetic mean? Yes. Yes. Yes, that's exactly what it means. It means completely satisfactory. Copacetic. C-O-P-A-C-E-T-I-C. Used in a sentence, Dr. Mikasa gave a copacetic performance representing our club at the district conference in Mississippi. Copacetic, completely satisfactory. Let's be copacetic during this meeting and use the word of the day. Mr. Toastmaster.
Made you come up with that word? Dictionary?
I thought about it this morning about all the great work that Dr. Mikasa did.
Great.
What better word to describe the performance of Copacetic?
Everything is all copacetic. Now we'll move on into the Toastmaster Minute. Dr. Mikasa. Come on up.
Thank you.
All right.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. Copacetic greetings all the way from Pittsburgh, Mississippi. I was present and accounted for. I'm sorry I didn't get the top prize. But we had a wonderful meeting. I stayed 20 hours or so. The theme of the conference was, I've got the power. The question is, what are you going to do with it? Let's share that power. Let's not be selfish. The keynote speaker made a point that we have a problem with the leadership in these United States. Fuzzy communication, corruption, and such. We need to raise new leaders who can speak the word and write the word of leadership. Leadership, leaders, and communication. Toastmaster Chris.
Thank you. Vicksburg, Mississippi. Anybody else been to Vicksburg? One other? You went too? Mississippi. They had a prize or?
No, you know, Vicksburg's got a
Casino. Dr. Mukasa, you go with her?
I did.
You did?
Vicksburg, Mississippi. Greetings.
But you didn't go to the casino.
I passed through the casino.
He didn't say stop.
Yeah.
He was so sensitive.
Kept his money in his pocket.
No, they
I
was
wrote
$5
some money
gift
from my pocket.
to you.
Wow.
You use my money, I use their money.
You came up off of $5? The five, that's usually just to get you in there to spend your money, but we'll move on to our speakers of the day. Speaker number one that will be coming from the Competent Communication Manual, number 9, Persuade with Power, 5 to 7 minutes. We have Adrian Duncan. Come on up.
Mr. Toastmaster. Great. Mighty fine. Thank you.
Greetings,
Mighty fine.
greetings.
I have a question. I need 3 individuals to come forward. Toastmaster Dave Rudney, Toastmaster Ms. Biddle, B. Director, and Toastmaster Philip Borden. Please come forward. For 1 minute, please come forward. Oh, okay. Let's see. David's got to be here. He'll be here somewhere. Okay, Miss Toastmaster Biddle, Toastmaster Borden, come forward, please. Joyce, Biddle, and Borden. Okay. Do we have another person that is a mature 3, 4, 5 year Toastmaster in the room? Dave, where'd he go? Where'd Dave go? Oh, Jignish. Come on down, Jignish. Yeah, that'd be fine. Give him a big hand. He's our new director for B Division. Toastmaster Biddle, I'm going to hand this to you first to hold on to. And I want you and Mr. Toastmaster Jignash to share it together and look at it carefully.
Oh, that's right. You got this.
Look at it carefully.
Yeah. We should all aspire
Hold
to
on
be
a minute.
Adrian.
Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute.
What does it say?
No, wait, don't do that yet.
Oh, well,
Hold on a minute. Did you read it, Mr. Jignash? Okay, good. Okay, let me hold it a minute. Let me
All
hold it a
right.
minute. Let me hold it a minute.
Okay, hold it.
Yeah, okay. Toastmaster Borden,
Yes.
come forward. Let me reach out. Come this forward.
Yes.
Okay, right here.
Okay.
Can you see it to read it?
Yes. Yeah, I read it.
Now, I have a question for these young people. Tell me the name of this person and something about this person and why this award is important at the district level in District 43 in Toastmasters, please. And I'll let the 3 of you converse together briefly. Then I want you to talk for at least 2 minutes about the name of this person and why this award is important. You got 2 minutes. Timer, give them 2 minutes to talk among themselves. 2 minutes, timer. I want them to talk among themselves. Then I want them to tell you about this award and why it's important to and for Toastmasters at District 43. Because one of the things that happens when I get back from Toastmasters conventions like this district meeting, guess what happens? I will ask the Toastmasters that were there, and I'll ask them, what happened at the district convention? What happened at the conference? Very seldom do I get any real information. Another thing I've asked them, did you get an email from some of the individuals at the district level, like the growth person, or the director person, or the person that's over all of the clubs? Did we get any emails from those individuals at the upper level? If so, what information did we get from those directors and coordinators at the district level? Did we find anything that would help our club, quote, members? Yes, we have a club representative that's going to help all of our clubs. However, when we get down to the bottom part, the real issue is, are they helping you as a member? And especially you young people, that's young Toastmasters, that's brand new. It took me 11 years to acquire this award. Think about it. Myself and my assistant are the only two people that I know that has acquired this award in 11 years. Think about it. It must be quite an honor if this is the only time I've seen this award presented in 11 years. I've only been a Toastmaster about 30 years. I hope that tells you something about attitude. I want to help you help us about attitude. Toastmaster Borden, tell us about the award. What's important, why it's important.
I'm going to have to defer to these two because they were actually at the conference.
Okay,
And
Toastmaster.
honestly, I don't know what
All
the
right,
award
go ahead. Toastmaster Biddle.
Okay, Naaman Harris is a former district governor,
Right.
and he was actually the first African American district governor for District 43.
Right. He was-
And he advocated for some very important activities that occurred in District 43.
Right.
And he passed away in 2007. And they named this award after him. And it is given to a person who exemplifies Toastmaster, the integrity of being a Toastmaster, and all of the things that we put forth as Toastmasters in District 43, and it's given away every fall.
Yeah.
I don't think it's given in spring. It's only given in the fall, right?
Right.
And most of the time it's given to somebody in the community, but this
Right.
year, our district director gave it to Adrian because of the work that Adrian is doing in Area A3 to bring up his clubs
Right.
to DPC staff.
Yeah, Misty.
And and actually it was given to two people. They usually only give one. It was given to Adrian for his work, and it was given to Craig Gerard because Craig is helping Adrian to get to all those clubs in South Arkansas.
Wow, good. All right. Toastmaster Jignash, any comment? Toastmaster Jignash, any comment? Great.
I think
Yes.
one thing I would say is it is really hard work that you have been doing, and I think that is why you deserve this award very well. So congratulations on getting the award, as well as give us some inspiration on how we can work towards the same goal.
Thank you. Good job. Excellent. I have a couple of comments that I'll tell you. The thing that I saw, and Miss Biddle is, Toastmaster Division Director, is exactly right. In the 11 years that I've been involved with this, not one person that I'm aware of in a Toastmaster, as a Toastmaster, won this award. They've all been given to community directors or community leaders or pastors or people that have, quote, made a big difference. The reason Craig Gerard and I received this award is because we've worked with the communities. I work with 8 Toastmasters clubs in Little Rock, surrounding areas, and 5 outside of Little Rock, outside of Pulaski County. They perceived that someone out of the ordinary would do this. I'm asking you as individuals in this club, brand new Toastmaster and Toastmaster Borden and Toastmaster Jignash, to help me, Toastmaster Joyce and I, to help you receive the Naaman Harris Award. Write that name down on your piece of paper. Be sure you're copacetic. Write it down, copacetic, and write down Naaman Harris. And I'm hoping and believing that each one of you will become a Naaman Harris Award winner. Did you hear? I'm looking forward to each one of you. Will you give yourselves a hand? Thank you. These young people are wonderful. Thank you, Toastmaster Gordon, Toastmaster Joyce, wonderful. Toastmaster Jignash, wonderful. Will you give them a big hand, because this is what it's all about. I will pass this around. Go ahead, go ahead. Yes, go ahead. I will pass this around so that you can see it, because it's one of the most prestigious awards in District 43, and not because it's for me and Craig Gerard. It's for you to earn and win. Would you pass that around, please?
I sure will.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Toastmaster, you did a great
Thank
job
you.
there.
Thank
Charlie,
you.
Toastmaster Charlie, give him a big hand. He's an excellent representative again over state.
It's an honor to have people like Adrian in the club.
I don't know, was this copacetic?
Oh, everything's copacetic. But it is an honor to have someone on this level in our club to be able to look up to, and all the accomplishments that he's been able to achieve. So good job, Adrian.
Please be sure it goes around, because I want y'all to see it, because 8 clubs in Little Rock, Texas, and 5 outside. Thank you.
I'll make sure you get around. Next, we'll have Joyce Biddle coming up speaking from the Educational Successful Club Series, Meeting Roles and Responsibilities. This will be a 10 to 15 minute speech, so I did say that, so got to eliminate that.
10 minutes, okay. Put a limit on her 10.
Welcome, Joyce Biddle.
Here, go, 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 go,
All right. I am going to, this is mainly for the new members, but some of our older members can get a refresher. The many hats of a Toastmaster. We're going to talk about meeting roles and why is that flag blocking my TV? Anyway, there are several assigned meeting roles. Now, one is the Toastmaster. When you are the Toastmaster, you coordinate and conduct the entire meeting. You act as the host, including introducing participants, prepare introductions for each speaker, you prepare remarks to bridge gaps between segments, you sit near the front to access the lectern, preside with sincerity, energy, enthusiasm, decisiveness. We also ask our Toastmasters to come up with a theme most of the time, but sometimes when we're rushed, we don't get a chance to do that. Then we have a Topics Master. Now, when you're the Topics Master, the Topics Master has this tradition that you ensure that table topics are always happen. They provide good practice for leadership skills, planning, preparation, and organization, time management, and facilitation. You have a work balance in the amount of time with the number of respondents and the amount of time each uses to answer questions. It's also a responsibility to try to make sure everybody that does not have a speaking role has an opportunity to speak. You check with the Toastmasters for the themes and use them for your questions. Otherwise, you can choose a variety of topics. For instance, it's May and Cinco de Mayo is coming up. That could be your theme. Find out who the speakers, evaluators, and general evaluator and Toastmasters are and choose other members from the list. So if you have a large club and you can use people that are not on the list for the agenda. Remember, table talkers have a twofold purpose. Everyone in the room has a chance to speak. Get people to learn to think and speak extemporaneously. The purpose of table topics is to learn to have an elevator speech. Okay? Because table topic speakers, well, I'll get to that later. Speakers. When you are the speaker, speeches are prepared based on the competent communicator and their vast communicator manuals. That's an excellent opportunity to practice leadership skills, planning, preparation, organization, time management, essential to successful speaking. These are used to select speech topic, do research, and organize preparation. Then there's the general evaluator. The general evaluator is responsible for the evaluation team. The evaluation team consists of the timer, the grammarian, the all counter, the speech evaluators, and the table topics. Well, we don't do table topic evaluators, but that's what this lists on the thing. Sit. Now, according to the rules, you're supposed to sit near the back for a full view of the meeting and the participants. And then you take notes on everything that happens, or doesn't, but should. And you do not reevaluate the speakers, but you do add something that the speakers left out. Then there's the speech evaluators. The speech evaluators have the opportunity of practice listening, critical thinking, and feedback and motivation. Overall, the motivation should be encouraging and motivate the speaker or leader to improve. Begin and end your evaluation with a note of encouragement or praise. Don't try to cover too much in your talk. Your time is limited. You may have written lengthy responses in the manual, but don't read each question or response. You're just supposed to hit the highlights. Then, when you are the timer, you're responsible for keeping track of time. Get the timing equipment from the sergeant at arms. You're also responsible for keeping the meeting on time, and our timers don't always do that. Be sure that you understand how the timing equipment works. Listen closely to program participants and signal them appropriately. We have a timing machine here. We also have timing cards, so you're supposed to use both appropriately. You signal the Toastmaster, the Topics Master, and Presiding Officer when a red signal is reached to keep the meeting on time. Now, when you are the grammarian, this is truly an opportunity to expand your listening skills because you're supposed to print out the word of the day, its parts of speech, and a brief description. It should be a word to help increase our vocabulary. Write down any awkward use and misuse of the language, and etc. You're supposed to write down who used the word of the day and note who used it correctly or incorrectly. Because we do have people that use the word, but it wasn't used correctly in a sentence, and that type of thing. And when you are, wait a minute, all counter. Now, the next role is the all counter. And the purpose of the all counter is to note words and sounds used as a crutch or as a filler. Words may be inappropriate interjections. And that includes and, well, but, so, you know. Sounds may be And we have a bell that our all counter is supposed to ding when these things occur. You should also note when speaker repeats a word or phrase, such as when they have a awkward pause, things like that. Should also be noted when speaker repeats a word or phrase. Excellent opportunity to practice your listening skills. And I have given you a handout with these roles. There are also other roles that occur in a meeting. Now, some clubs have an invocation. We don't do that. Some clubs have a joke master. And when we first started, we have a joke master, but then we stopped doing that because it took up too much time. And we don't have a vote counter because we don't vote on things. Because some clubs vote on best table topics and things like that, which I think we ought to start doing, but we'll talk about that later. And then parliamentarian, we don't have one of those. Then we have club officers, the sergeant at arms. That's litter. Wave your hand, man. He's clapping. I told him to wave his hand. Anyway, the sergeant at arms is responsible for getting the flag out, putting the banner out, putting away all the equipment, making sure our mics are out and all that stuff. The president is the person that is over the club, make sure everything occurs, takes care of club business and all of that kind of stuff. And then the vice president of education, that's one. I'm responsible for making sure your educational program occurs as it should, that you get your speeches in, that you get all of your leadership roles done, that you come through your speech manuals, that you come through your leadership manual, and all of that stuff gets done. Vice President of Public Relations is responsible for advertising the club. Vice President of Membership is responsible for maintaining the membership of the club, advertising our club and getting more members in and getting membership programs done. The secretary takes minutes of the meeting. The treasurer is responsible for our funds. And so in conclusion, coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. working together success. And Henry Ford, an American industrialist, made that comment. I know y'all know who Henry Ford is. He made the Ford, what was his first vehicle? Was it the A, or the Model T or the Model A? I don't remember which, but you know, he was a rich man. Anyway, you know, he created the assembly line. Did y'all know that? He created the assembly line. He didn't create. He didn't create the first car. I think Edison did. I think Edsel did. But he created the assembly line. Anyway.
Henry Ford.
All right. I hope that was copacetic for you all. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that information. And also for the new members, in the back of your manuals are all the tasks that Joyce went over and their positions. And whenever you complete a task, you just put the date and time, not the time, but the date. But this helps you to stay organized with what roles you need to complete. You can complete your agenda according to this. I think for the communication, it's like the second to the last page. People are looking, that's what I'm just giving them a little time to. I was just telling them that in the back of their manuals, they have the positions to check off as they complete them to get their different levels. That was very helpful for me. After about 2 or 3 months, I finally realized I was back there and that I already did a lot of roles and I missed a lot of opportunities. So
There is a file that's kept by doing the guard. You can go back and check all that, fill it in, return it to the CO, whatever it is, as it. He checked all those files.
great.
Speaking of which, have all the new members gotten in there?
Hopefully, have you? Good. Then they can start doing their,
Now we'll move on to our general evaluator, table topics. Philip will lead us with the topic master. Thank you.
you must be copacetic.
Yes, all right. Good afternoon. We will do this the copacetic way by getting some lights on, I think. They may come on in a second. As your last minute fill in for table topics today, I had the choice whether to run back to my office and get easy questions for our new Toastmasters or hard questions for our veteran Toastmasters. What would be the most copacetic choice for this meeting? I'll tell you the answer. New Toastmasters, get ready to hear some answers to tough questions by our veteran Toastmasters. I have the titles of several actual, real, nonfiction books with titles that I found to be interesting. In 1 to 2 minutes, remembering that today's word of the day is copacetic, I want you to tell us why the book title that I give you is the book that we should read this spring, or to put at the top of our summer reading list. You can't use the excuse that you have not actually read the book yourself. Take a little liberty, be creative. The first book is by Christopher C. Stanley. Here is the actual title of the book that he published. Highlights in the History of Concrete. Highlights in the History of Concrete. Tell us why we should read this book. Dave Rudney.
Thank you so much for that wonderful question. I'll tell you, actually, I read this book. I know you're thinking this is crazy, but this is actually a good book. Because I saw, why is Nicole rolling her eyes at me right now? But I tell you, it was amazing. This book, it talks about the things you need to build a strong foundation for a house. And actually, I don't have a house. But this book, after I read it, I had a big smile on my face. I felt great. And I realized that there's certain principles, certain guidelines have to be done. Otherwise, the house will just cave in on itself. So there's certain metrics that have to be followed. And raise your hand if you have a house. Wouldn't it be bad if the house just fell in one day, just collapsed? Now, it might be tough since you have the house now, what you can do to, but if you move to a new house, there's certain things you want to look for. I really recommend you get this book. It's only $20. You can go to Amazon, you can order it. And I think if you get it, you're going to enjoy things more. You'll be able to make sure that the house that you get won't collapse, because it happens. People's homes collapse. You think it doesn't happen. Charlie's laughing at me. It happens. I don't have the statistics, but it could happen to you. So if you read this book, it won't collapse. You can share with others, and you're going to have a big smile on your face. Mr. Topic Master.
Okay, great job. Up next is a book by Mortimer J. Adler and Charles Van Doren. The title is How to Read a Book. It's a book by Mortimer J. Adler and Charles Van Doren titled How to Read a Book. I want to ask Toastmaster Delisa Shaw Johnson if you would tell us why we should read the book, How to Read a Book.
How to read a book that you don't read, huh? Why he put me on the spot for this one? How to read a book. Well, how to read a book, I guess you pick that book up and you look inside that book and you read the words and you look at the pictures, get excited about it, keep reading. That's how to read a book.
Okay, we have time for one more, an expert opinion on why we should read this book by Sergeant Rick Pelicano. The title is Bomb-Proof Your Horse. Bomb-Proof Your Horse. Think about it for a minute. There is an application to this. Why should we read this book? Toastmaster Charlie Simpson. Bomb-Proof Your Horse.
Thank you, Mr. Topics Masters, for that question. He enlightened me that it's about keeping your horse from being spooked. Fortunately, the other day, in front of my house, some neighbors had a birthday party and brought some farm animals. They put the cage right in front of our house in the cul-de-sac, and along with that farm was a horse. We walked up to the horse with my 3 boys. The guy that was handling the horse said, "Never stand behind the horse, stand in front of the horse." I turned my back. Now I have a 2-year-old. I have 2-year-old twins. I turned my back to check out what was happening at the house, and my 2-year-old son was walking behind the horse. I jumped and grabbed my son, and the horse jumped. And not sure if he was getting ready to kick or not, but I definitely understand scaring a horse can definitely cause some serious challenges, especially if you're standing behind the horse. So keep in mind, never stand behind a horse, and they tell you walk up gently when you're approaching a horse. And that way, you won't spook a horse. And that's why you should read the book, because that information is in the book. Come on up.
Thank you. Good job, everyone. I want to close our Table Topics time by encouraging you to make this summer the summer that you really put together a reading list and do quite a bit of reading. be sure and put those books at the bottom of your reading list for this summer. We will move on to the evaluation portion of today's meeting. This is the time where we get to find out how we did, how we were effective, how we might improve, what worked, what could be better next time. Here to start that process for us by presenting his evaluation of speaker number 1, Adrian Duncan, is Area Director Jignesh Borad.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. First, I want to mention that Toastmaster Adrian was speaking from Competent Communicator Manual. That was the project Persuade with Power. And with every project, there are guidelines, there are steps that we follow. And that project talks about how to persuade with power. There are certain elements that we need to include when we are trying to persuade. We saw several examples of persuasion today, starting with Toastmaster Adrian's speech, but also the second part where we had the book. We were trying to persuade people how to read that book. And I'm going to mention some of these aspects that Toastmaster Adrian involved. The first, you have to be a credible source. Because if you are not a credible source, then you cannot persuade people. Of course, Toastmaster Adrian receiving that award is the credible source on that award, and he can give us more information about that. So I think he did a great job on that. The second aspect is we need to make sure that the audience has some interest in it, because if they are not going to be interested, then what are you going to persuade them with? So we have to show them what is in it for the audience in what you are trying to persuade. Toastmaster Adrian mentioned to all of us how all of us can actually benefit from achieving that award, and I think that was really helpful. That is the theme of his presentation, that you can also achieve the award, and I think that was very beautiful. Of course, we need to have facts and logic embedded into the arguments, because without the facts, people are not going to buy, and he provided several facts. For example, we didn't have an award like this in last 13 years and stuff like that. I may be wrong on the facts, but he was right on the facts. So and I also want to mention that he also had wonderful organization of his speech, because he started with a question. He brought us in the front and he asked us, what is this award? That kind of generated the curiosity, that kind of brought the people into the speech, into the topic, and then it followed from there. So I think it was a wonderful organization. I really liked it. One thing I would like to suggest is, since this was a Persuade with Power, we probably wanted to hear a little bit more about why the award is important and what are the things that we can do to achieve that award. So having a little bit more details on that front would have probably helped us. But in my opinion, I think it was a more than copacetic speech. What I liked about the speech is, of course, the person who is achieving the award is here in front of us, and it's an inspiring thing to have a person who is there and who can help us achieve that award. So thank you, Toastmaster Adrian.
Thank you. Up next, we will hear from Toastmaster Leonard Mukasa evaluating Joyce Biddle's speech.
Thank you very much. The many hats of a Toastmaster. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and our speaker, second speaker today, distinguished Toastmaster Biddle. This was a timely and important speech. We have new members in the House. We are trying to empower them. its challenges and opportunities. And we got that across. So this with happy smiles to the members. It's not, responsibilities might be threatening nerves, but you solved it with a smile all the ways. That's very good. And the visuals, yes, we may know the source, but they were well displayed and very clear, and you had looked at them in the past, so it flowed well, and including the handout for new members to take home. Logic flow was good. I would have liked it better if you worked on the filler words. We had so many dings around, and everybody was trying to ding that. It happens sometimes. I wouldn't blame you after driving 4 hours from Vicksburg, Mississippi. Another point that could have driven the point home would be to introduce our new members in the House. Maybe show of hands. And at the end, if we saved time to let them ask questions, probing questions perhaps, as they allay their fears joining Toastmasters. So this was a good speech. Distinguished Toastmaster Bido is saying, keep toasting. It will be better in weeks and months ahead. You saw her eye contact. She engaged you. She knows you. She's our VP for education. So she knows you, and she reached out to you with smiling eyes, inviting eyes. I think you will not disappoint her. In summary, we covered and thought about Toastmasters' roles and officers. We probed our minds as to what we can do next time. Choose a topic, choose a role. Maybe it will be assigned. We laughed a bit at each other, the fun of it. And we learned about Toastmasters. Distinguished Toastmaster Phil.
Thank you. As you know, sometimes we have an assigned meeting role, an assigned meeting theme for a Toastmasters meeting. We didn't have an assigned meeting theme today. However, sometimes a meeting theme naturally presents itself. I think both of our speeches today, what they had in common is they were both very relevant and very pertinent, fresh, current information for today. Both speeches, I thought, were more interesting than one of the other books on my reading list by Dale Power. The title of this book by Dale Power, Fancy Coffins to Make Yourself. Fancy Coffins. That's what you missed by Table Topics, because we didn't have time to get to that. Here to tell us how he believes we did on a very copacetic choice for Word of the Day, grammarian Dave Rudney.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. I'll have to tell you that a few years ago I was at my parents' in Ohio, and my dad was wanting me to help clear out all these books in the basement. And actually, I swear, I'm not joking, we did find How to Read a Book. And it was covered in dust, and I said, Dad, what is this book about? He said, Dave, I've never read it. So I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, my dad has all these books. Seriously, my dad is unbelievable. He's a human library, but he never read that book. We got the biggest kick out of that. I think overall today we were pretty copacetic. And by the way, try to use copacetic all week. Not just for today. Use it as the word of the week. Think about that. It's probably a slick word, right? Sounds good to say it right now. Copacetic. Copacetic. It sounds slick, right? It sounds professional. Wow, it's a great word. Use copacetic. Let's see, Adrian used copacetic 4.3 million times. Dr. Mikasa once, Philip 3 times. I think that overall we did great with grammar and words. A few things I like particularly, Jignesh, a couple words I like, credible and embedded. clever words, well put. I think Dr. Mikasa said some very well put phrases when he said, probed our minds. I like that. I visualize that. And also, keep toasting. I think Distinguished Toastmaster Biddle said that. Very good. And then I also like Dr. Mikasa when he said smiling eyes and inviting eyes. Really like that. Very, very well said. Overall, great job. I think the only thing, I heard someone say that type of thing, and I think that from hearing a good speaker many years ago say, it's always good to say something specific. Don't use the word thing. Use something, that sort of item or that sort of aspect, but the word thing, it's too generic, so let's try to avoid that. Of course, sometimes we can use it. We can say thing. I say it a lot. It's always better to be specific. What is that? Specificity builds credibility. And then, moving on to the Icon Report, you heard the bell. And when you hear the bell, you know that there's a verbal crutch. Overall, great job. I don't need to count the number. It speaks for itself. Mr. General Evaluator.
Yes, the number of times that the bell rings speaks for itself, just like this book by Imre Somaji titled Reading Toes, T-O-E-S, Reading Toes. I wonder if that book is illustrated. I don't know about that one. Here to tell us how we did in the Timers Corner, welcome Toastmaster Nicole Johnson.
Greetings, fellow Toastmasters and most honored guests. It's my pleasure to serve as your timer today. For your timer's report, the grammarian gave the word of the day for 1 minute. That's Toastmaster Dave Vertney. Toastmaster Mikasa, Leonard Mikasa, gave the Toastmaster minute for 1 minute and 7 seconds. Speaker 1 gave a speech for 8 minutes and 13 seconds. Toastmaster Duncan. Distinguished Toastmaster Joyce gave us her speech for 10 minutes and 5 seconds. For our evaluators, well, I'll actually go to table topics. For table topics, our first speaker, Dave, spoke for 1 minute and 11 seconds. Delisha, you spoke for 24 seconds. We generally try to speak for at least 1 minute for table topics. So you're all right. You'll get it next time. Charlie spoke for 1 minute and 43 seconds. For our evaluators, Evaluator Jignis, you spoke for 3 minutes and 10 seconds, and also Dave, you did the same time, 3 minutes and 10 seconds. For Grammarian's report, Dave, you did 2 minutes and 12 seconds, and I have been speaking for about 1 minute and 18 seconds. Thank you. This is your timer's report. Thank you.
Thank you. Part of my job as general evaluator is to make some general observations about the meeting as a whole. I'll do that quickly. For the sake of time, I think we had a good meeting today with quite a few people out, with some last-minute roles to fill. We started the meeting on time in spite of a few people still transitioning to get here. PowerPoint was up and ready for our speech that had PowerPoint. There were no hitches to that. All in all, a good meeting. I want to save time for club business and to hear from our area director, so I'll turn things back over to our presiding over, Officer Joyce Biddle.
Yay! I want to, and somebody did me for the I want to introduce our new members and ask them to stand. All our new members, please stand. Starting right here, introduce yourself.
My name is Kiana Mitchell. I work in policies and procedures right under Melissa Shaw Johnson. And after today, I'm really nervous about the dean thing.
They don't name you the first round. They name you the first round.
Well, let me tell you this. I did a lot of so's before, and I don't do them as much because the ding stopped me, because I was afraid of ding. Okay, move on. And if y'all don't remember her, y'all know Delisa was one of our new members from last time, and she had just had a baby. So she had been out a while.
Actually, I had, my first speech was July the 6th. I got up and spoke, and I actually said, I don't know what I'm going to do after my baby graduates from school, because my son graduates May 25th, and my daughter graduated last year. Well, the very next day, I found out I was the very next day. So I got my answer.
Okay, now I'm going to give Jignish an opportunity to speak. He's our area director for area B2.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to talk. I do want to mention that Health Masters as a club has done wonderfully well this year. And this is, of course, the hard work of the leadership at Health Masters, as well as what the members have achieved in this year. So I would like to congratulate all of you, the club, the leaders, and the members for this wonderful achievement. To go into little specifics, every club has 10 awards or 10 goals that they want to achieve at the end of the year, and Health Masters has achieved all 10 of them already.
And we was the first club in District 43 to do so.
Wow. So this makes the club eligible to receive President's Distinguished Award this year. The term is going to end on June 30th, and at that time, I think the club will be eligible for that award. So congratulations. I also want to mention few members who have achieved the educational awards, because without educational awards, there is no progress for the individual as well as there is no progress for the club overall. Because when we go through this manual step by step, like the Pursue It with Power example, that one project talks about how to pursue it. And if we go through that and if we deliver that, we learn a lot. And that is what all the awards achieve. So I do want to highlight few individuals who have achieved the awards. Toastmaster Joyce Biddle. She has achieved ACG, it's the Advanced Communicator Gold, Advanced Leader Silver, and Distinguished Toastmaster Award. And in addition to that, Competent Communicator Award, Competent Leadership Award, as well as Leadership Executive. So it's quite a mouthful of awards. Congratulations.
Was this past year?
This year, yes.
Got all this award?
All these awards this year.
My goodness.
Starting from July 1st. From July 1st till now, which is awesome. Toastmaster Philip Borden. He achieved Competent Leadership Award, Competent Leader, Advanced Communicator Bronze. I think those are the two awards I see. So congratulations, Toastmaster Philip. And of course, he is the Distinguished Toastmaster from previous years, but this is the awards he achieved this year. So awesome. Toastmaster Nicole Johnson achieved Competent Communicator Award. Awesome. For the new members, I want to mention Competent Communicator is the first award that you want to target, because it has 10 speeches, and every speech talks about individual aspects of how to give a speech. How to say, how to have the body language, how to persuade, all those things are there. Toastmaster Carol Jackson, Competent Communicator Award. And Toastmaster Aaron Padua Evans, Competent Communicator Award. And Toastmaster Charlie Simpson, Competent Communicator Award. Congratulations. Thank you.
I do want to point out that in June we have our annual, what do we call it? Annual celebration. We will be announcing everybody that has received an award through the year. If you will bring me your awards, I will have them framed. Okay? I'll have them framed for you. And we will officially present them to you at that meeting. Okay?
I want to see her frame this guy. Not that down. I want to see her frame.
Well, now for plaques, I cannot frame those. Now, like my DTM award, it's a plaque, so that cannot be framed. But those, like Charlie CC, I will have those framed. So bring those to me, and I'll have those framed for the celebration. All right? All right. We need to have an officers election, and Dave needs to let us know what date we're going to have the election.
You do it?
I'm planning to do it in 2 weeks. I'm going to do it 2 weeks.
You have
So-
to meet in 1 week and then elect them the next week. I'll help you with
Okay, so next week will be the nomination.
So next week we'll do the nominations, then we have elections the week after. All right.
So be thinking.
So Dave, are you going to send an email out?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any other business that need to claim our attention?
Be sure that you recognize Leonard because he did one of the best evaluations. Although you don't win at the district level because this is subjective. Let me tell you, he had the least number of filler words and the most copacetic presentation. One group that was good, they gave a lot of information, but they had half of their presentation filled with filler words. That is not appropriate and not acceptable to me. Y'all will come
And see, we couldn't be judges because he's in our club. So, neither, but anyway.
It was a good experience.
All right. Any other, and I did win $408. I'm $5. Hey, it was very cool. I mean, the meeting's adjourned, but I'm gonna tell y'all that. I put my little, because they make you get a member's card.